guys, we're back with a brand new video. In today's video, it's a really exciting one, and I wish I did bring out this video early on in the year. I just didn't find the time to record and go through, because this actually took a fair bit of time to predict, because this is just going off. This is more, I've had this team sitting here in my notes for a couple weeks now. I just haven't found the time to release. So this is more, if you look at some players, you're like, oh, they started poorly on the year. This is more based off what I thought they were going to do leading into this year. So it might be a couple of players that probably haven't played up that standard, but I reckon they'll have a strong back half this year and be really good. Feel free to drop your predicted All Australian squad in the comments below. I'll read every comment. I love when you interact with the videos. So without further ado, let's get into defenders. So kicking it off with the defenders, I've got Callum Wilkie, Sam Collins, Josh Worrell, Nick Blakey, Harris Andrews, Jack Sinclair. Even though I'm talking about predictions, but Callum Wilkie and Jack Sinclair for St Kilda have been so great. I think Jack Sinclair's top 5 in coaches' votes to start the year. Callum Wilkie has not done a step wrong. So those guys should be both All-Australians this year, in my opinion, for St Kilda. And then Sam Collins, I think he's been in the 40-man squad before. I don't think he's ever made it into the 22, but he should be the All-Australian fullback. And now the Gold Coast look like they're going to be one of the best teams in the comp, if not the best. This is his chance to finally get that blazer that he should have already had at this point of his career. And to talk about people that should already have a blazer, Josh Worrell. I don't get how this guy wasn't an All-Australian. I thought he should have got the spot over Battle last year. Absolutely robbed. I think it's just because he didn't do it for long enough. It was his breakout year. But now that he did it all last year, this is the year he finally gets his blazer, and he started absolutely on fire already. So 100%, I reckon Josh Worrell should be an All-Australian this year. And then an older statesman back there, Harris Andrews, being a multiple-time All-Australian, and I think he'll keep that up. Even though he is suspended right now, I think he'll still play 20+ matches and be really good for the Brisbane Lions and be another All-Australian. And then Nick Blakey, this is really tough. I was 50-50 between, I wouldn't say 50-50, probably the guys that I was really throwing up for this spot, as you'll see, because I did chuck one of them on my bench, Jordan Clark and Lockie Ash, but I did give it to Nick Blakey. I just feel like, Sydney should be a top 4 side, even though they have lost Heaney and Goulden now, which is really disappointing. But I do think Nick Blakey takes that All-Australian halfback spot. Now to the midfielders. And this is really interesting. Spoiler, I did not put any wingmen, like actual wingmen on, so sorry about that. So starting off, we do have Naz on one wing, Dacos on the other wing, and then you have Ed Richards, Noah Anderson, and Zach Butters. Now, and I do have Tom DeConey in the ruck. I will leave that to just for a little bit. Let me talk before you blast me in the comments having Tom DeConey in here, because I'll explain myself. But for the two wingmen, I went with Dacos and Naz just because they're probably the two best inside to outside mids in the comp. So I thought it makes sense to play in the wing. And they both started their career on the wing. They can play wing. And yeah, they're one of the two of the best runners, explosion stoppage, and outside players in the comp. That's why I selected them both on the wing. And inside, I've got Noah Anderson. I think this guy almost could win the Brownlow medal this year. Zach Butters and Ed Richards. Zach Butters is a one-man show at Port Adelaide, and I think he'll have an absolute awesome year, and he'll become the second $2 million player in my opinion. Ed Richards is underrated. The Dogs look like the best team in the comp this year, up there with like Gold Coast and teams like that. So I feel like he'll be an All-Australian inside mid. And then Tom DeConey, this was one that probably will be a flame in the comments for, but if you did watch the AFL season predictions I did make, I did put Tom DeConey as my All-Australian surprise. So like, even though it doesn't look great right now, I have to keep this here because I did predict it in the preseason, so it just wouldn't feel right to not have him here. So Tom DeConey is the All-Australian ruck. He hasn't been too bad to start the year actually, so if he starts to put his games together, he could be the All-Australian. It's not guaranteed to be gone this year. Now for the forward line, I do have Marcus Bontempelli on one half forward, Chris Matraka on the other, and I got Sam Darcy, Riley Thilthorpe, Ben King, and Keziah Pickett. Now, Chris Matraka did just do his hamstring, so he's out for 4 to 6 weeks, so I don't know if he will be half forward now that I'm looking at this, but I'm going to back him in that he still has an awesome 19 to 18 matches and still finds himself in the All-Australian squad, because he definitely is playing that level right now over the first 2-3 games. Marcus Bontempelli, he selects himself, especially because if you're a winning team, you're going to get these All-Australian selections, and Bulldogs look like they are bound to be a top 4 team this year. Same with Sam Darcy. You know, he plays a bit more ruck this year, but I still feel like he'll kick upwards of 55, 60 goals this year. Same with Ben King. Ben King's already kicked 16 goals with 3 rounds in. So I feel like he could kick, I feel like he's almost, in my prediction, in my opinion, I feel like he will kick 80 plus goals this year. Or he almost could be the first player since Buddy to kick 102. That would be so exciting if he does. And Riley Thilthorpe, I just reckon that guy's an absolute animal. He's had a kind of a bit of a slow start to the year, but I think he can finally hit form coming into the buys, and then I feel like he'll end super strong. And then Keziah Pickett, playing a bit more midfield this time. He was the All Australian small forward last year, and I feel like he's going to hold that spot. He'll have a lot of opportunity to play a bit more midfield. So, you know, some people might hate that I've selected a midfielder as a pocket, but I feel like that's why I've selected the 3 midfielders I've selected that do go into the centre bounce. They still spend a lot of time forward. Some people could say that I should put Naz in here because Naz does play a lot of, you know, spend a lot of time forward, but this is just how I selected it. Now on to the bench. Now this bench, it was really hard to pick because these are the guys that are just good enough to not be in it. But then there is some guys that I've missed off here that I just couldn't find a way to get in, and I'm really sorry about that if it's one of your favourite players. But I've gone with Caleb Sarong, Jordan Dawson, Isaac Heaney, Charlie Curnow, and Jordan Clark. Curnow's had a pretty slow start to the year. I almost did have him on the field when I first made this list, but I reckon he still gets the bench spot. Isaac Heaney, I was either 50-50 between him and Chad Warner. Isaac Heaney did miss with a hamstring tightness on the weekend, but I still think he's really fit. And he seems like he's got the midfield role over Chad Warner. If you watch Sydney this year, Chad Warner actually doesn't play that much midfield time, and they've used Chad Warner more as a forward, as like that high half forward. So I think Isaac Heaney will take the absolute mickey playing almost full-time mid. And I've gone with Jordan Clark over Lockie Ash. Now, I still am not happy with myself for picking this. I really rate Lockie Ash, but I've backed in Jordan Clark. I just feel like Jordan Clark will get the nod because GWS won't be that good of a side, in my opinion, this year. So Jordan Clark will get it because Fremantle will be, in my opinion, top 4 side. And yeah, same with Caleb Sarong. I feel like Caleb Sarong was stiff enough to be in the inside mids. He will get tagged this year, but I've gone with him. And then Jordan Dawson, stiff not to be on the field. Yeah, and he's the captain. It should have been the All Australian captain last year, so that's what I backed in. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to drop a like on this video and drop your teams in the comments down below. Who was stiff to miss from my list? Thanks for watching.